Captain Lee Minho stared out at the endless field of floating rocks. His small research ship moved slowly through the asteroid belt. The ship was old and made strange noises, but it was home to him and his crew of 3. "Captain, I am getting strange readings from Sector 7, said Han Yuri from her seat at the navigation controls. Her dark eyes were focused on the glowing screen in front of her. "Something big is hidden in those rocks." Minho walked over to look at her display. The scanner showed a massive object buried deep inside one of the larger asteroids. It was too big to be natural and too old to be from any known species. "Dr. Park, what do you think?" Minho called to the ship's scientist. Dr. Park Ji-won looked up from her research station. Her long black hair was tied back as she worked with complex equations on her computer. "The energy readings are very strange, Captain. This object is giving off signals I have never seen before." "Could it be dangerous?" asked Kim Dae-ho, the ship's engineer. He was a big man with strong hands that could fix anything. But even he looked worried about the strange readings. "I do not think so," Park said slowly. "The energy is very old and very weak, like something that has been sleeping for a very long time." Minho made his decision. "We go and look. Dae-ho, prepare the mining tools. Yuri, take us closer to that asteroid." The small ship moved carefully through the floating rocks. Each piece of stone was as big as a building. One wrong move could destroy their ship completely. But Yuri was the best pilot Minho had ever seen. Her hands moved smoothly over the controls as she guided them safely through the dangerous field. "There," Park said, pointing at her screen. "The object is right inside that asteroid. It looks like a ship, but the design is nothing like anything in our databases." Minho studied the readings. In 30 years of space travel, he had seen ships from dozens of different alien species. Each race had their own style of building. The hegemony made their ships like floating cities. The traders built long, thin vessels for speed. The miners created heavy, strong ships that could survive anything. But this ship was different. The lines were smooth and curved in ways that seemed impossible. It looked more like art than engineering. "How old do you think it is?" Minho asked. Park checked her instruments again. "Captain, this is going to sound crazy, but my scans say this ship is over 50,000 years old. That is older than any known civilization in the galaxy." The crew was quiet for a moment. 50,000 years ago, most species were still living in caves. Even the proud hegemony only had advanced technology for about 10,000 years. "Are you sure about that number?" Yuri asked. "I have checked it 5 times, Park replied. "The materials are so old they should have turned to dust by now. But something is keeping them together, some kind of energy field I cannot understand." Dae-ho activated the mining beam. The bright blue light cut through the asteroid rock like butter. Slowly, they carved away the stone that had hidden the ancient ship for thousands of years. As more of the vessel was revealed, the crew could only stare in wonder. The ship was huge, at least 3 times bigger than their research vessel. Its hull was black metal that seemed to drink in the light from their mining beam. Strange symbols covered its surface, glowing very faintly with their own inner light. "Captain," Yuri said quietly, "we are not alone out here." Minho looked at her scanner display. 3 ships were approaching fast from the direction of the nearest hegemony outpost. They were military vessels, built for fighting and painted in the red and gold colors of the Galactic Federation. "This is Patrol Leader Vox of the Federation Enforcement Division," came a harsh voice over their radio. "You are ordered to leave this area immediately. This system is now under Federation protection." Minho picked up the radio. "This is Captain Lee Minho of the Earth research vessel Sunrise. We are conducting legal survey operations in neutral space. Negative, human. You have discovered something that belongs to the Federation. Leave now or we will remove you by force." Minho looked at his crew. They had been working for months to map this asteroid field. Now the Federation wanted to take their discovery away from them just because they were human. "Give us 10 minutes to pack our equipment," Minho said into the radio. "You have 5 minutes, no more." Park was working frantically at her station. "Captain, I am downloading everything I can from the alien ship. There are data crystals inside that are still active. The information is incredible. What kind of information? Minho asked. Blueprints, Captain. Detailed plans for building something. But not just any ship. This is a design for a warship unlike anything I have ever seen. The weapons systems alone could probably destroy a small moon. Deho was using the mining beam to cut away one of the glowing crystals from the alien ship's hull. If we are taking anything, we better do it now. Those patrol ships are getting very close. Is it safe to remove? Minho asked. The crystal is not connected to any power systems, Park said, checking her readings. I think it is just a storage device. But Captain, the data I am seeing suggests that this technology was built by humans. That is impossible, Yuri said. Humans have only been in space for 200 years. Not modern humans, Park explained quickly. An ancient human civilization that existed long before our recorded history. The genetic markers in the ship's biological components match human DNA. The Federation patrol ships were now close enough that Minho could see them through the window. Their weapons were powered up and ready to fire. Time to go, he said. Deho, get that crystal secured. Everyone strap in. Yuri's hands flew over the controls as she fired up the ship's engines. The little research vessel shot away from the asteroid field just as the Federation ships arrived. Behind them, the ancient ship disappeared back into the darkness of space, but in their cargo hold, the glowing crystal hummed softly with power that had been waiting 50,000 years to be awakened. And in Dr. Park's computer, the blueprints for humanity's future were already beginning to unfold. The discovery that would shake the galaxy had begun. 3 weeks after their return to Earth, Captain Lee Minho sat in a meeting room deep underground. The room was located beneath the mountains of Korea, hidden from any watching eyes in space. Around the table sat the most important people in the Earth's government. Admiral Choi Soo-min, the head of Earth Defense, looked tired. She had been studying the reports from Minho's mission for days without sleep. Captain Lee, are you absolutely sure about what Dr. Park found in that alien ship? Yes, Admiral, Minho replied. The genetic markers match human DNA. Somehow, our ancestors built that ship 50,000 years ago. That changes everything, said General Kim, shaking his gray head. If this technology belongs to humanity by right, then the Federation has no claim to it. Dr. Park entered the room carrying a metal case. Inside was the crystal they had taken from the ancient ship. It still glowed with soft blue light pulsing like a slow heartbeat. Have you learned anything new? Admiral Choi asked her. Park placed the crystal on the table. Everyone leaned forward to look at it. This is not just a storage device, she said. It is something much more incredible. The crystal contains what I can only call a sleeping mind. A mind? Minho asked. You mean it is alive? Not alive exactly, but aware. The crystal holds the thoughts and memories of whoever built the original ship. When I connect it to our computers, I can see their knowledge. They knew how to build weapons that could destroy planets. They understood secrets about space and time that we are only beginning to discover. A new voice spoke from the doorway. And that is why this discovery must remain secret. Everyone turned to see a tall man in a white lab coat. This was Dr. Kang Hyun, Earth's best quantum engineer. Admiral Choi stood up. Dr. Kang, I asked you to come because we need your help. Can this ancient technology be rebuilt? Kang walked over to examine the crystal. He held a small scanner that beeped and flashed as he moved it around the glowing stone. The energy patterns are unlike anything I have seen before. But yes, I believe it can be rebuilt. However, there is a problem. What kind of problem? Asked Minho. The blueprints are not just plans for building a ship, Kang explained. They are instructions for growing one. This technology requires a living mind to guide its creation. The ancient humans did not build their ships like we build ours today. They grew them like plants, using thought and will as much as metal and energy. Park nodded in agreement. I have been studying the process for weeks. The ship is meant to bond with its crew on a mental level. It becomes part of them, and they become part of it. That sounds dangerous, said General Kim. It is very dangerous, Kang admitted. 2 volunteers have already tried to link their minds with smaller crystal fragments. Both suffered severe brain damage. The human mind is not strong enough to handle the full power of this technology alone. Admiral Choi walked to the window that looked out over the hidden facility. Below them, hundreds of scientists and engineers were working day and night to understand the alien technology. The Federation has been treating humanity like children for 30 years, she said quietly. They give us the simple jobs while they keep the advanced technology for themselves. If we could build one of these ancient ships, everything would change. Admiral, Minho said, what if we used multiple minds working together? My crew worked as a team to discover the ship. Maybe we could work as a team to awaken it. Kang looked interested. That might actually work. If 4 or 5 minds shared the mental load, no single person would be overwhelmed. But the people would have to trust each other completely. Any doubt or fear could destroy the process and kill everyone involved. Park opened her computer and showed them the detailed blueprints. According to these plans, the awakening process takes about 6 hours. During that time, the minds linked to the crystals cannot break contact, or the ship will die before it is fully born. My crew is willing to try, Minho said without hesitation. We discovered this technology together. We should be the ones to bring it to life. Admiral Choi turned back to face the room. If we do this, there is no going back. The Federation will see our new ship as a threat. They might declare war on Earth. They already treat us like enemies, said General Kim. At least this way we would have the power to fight back. Dr. Kang pulled up more detailed scans of the crystal. I will need at least 2 weeks to prepare the awakening chamber. We will need pure metals, energy crystals, and a perfect electromagnetic field. Any mistake could result in an explosion that destroys half of Korea. You have whatever you need, Admiral Choi said. Money, materials, people. This project is now Earth's highest priority. Over the following days, the underground facility became busier than ever. Trucks arrived carrying rare metals from around the world. The brightest scientists came to help with the project. Security was increased to keep the work secret from Federation spies. Minho and his crew spent their time studying the crystal and preparing their minds for the bonding process. Dr. Park discovered that the ancient humans had used meditation and mental exercises to strengthen their connection with the technology. It is like learning to speak a new language, she explained to the others. But instead of words, we will be speaking in thoughts and emotions directly to the ship's consciousness. Kim Dae-ho, the engineer, was worried about the technical aspects. What if something goes wrong during the awakening? What if the ship decides it does not like us? Then we will probably die, Han Yuri said calmly. But if we succeed, humanity will finally have the power to stand as equals in the galaxy. On the final day of preparation, Dr. Kang showed them the awakening chamber. It was a huge room carved out of solid rock, with the crystal placed at the center. Around it were 4 chairs connected to the crystal by cables of pure silver. Tomorrow we make history, Admiral Choi told them. One way or another, the galaxy will never be the same again. As Minho looked at the glowing crystal, he could swear he heard something like a voice calling to him from deep within the blue light. The ancient ship was waiting to be born, and only they could give it life. The morning of the awakening came with gray clouds covering the Korean mountains. Deep underground, Captain Lee Minho and his crew prepared for the most dangerous mission of their lives. Dr. Kang Hyun checked his instruments one final time. The wide awakening chamber hummed with energy. Tons of raw metal were arranged in perfect patterns around the glowing crystal. Silver cables connected everything to the 4 chairs where the crew would sit. Remember, Dr. Park Ji-won said to the others, once we begin, we cannot break the connection. 6 hours minimum, or the ship will die before it is fully grown. Kim Dae-ho tested the metal headset he would wear. What exactly will we feel when the process starts? I do not know, Park admitted. The ancient records speak of joining minds with the ship's consciousness. It might feel like dreaming while awake. Han Yuri sat down in her chair and looked at the crystal. It seems different today. Brighter somehow. Minho noticed it too. The blue light was pulsing faster, almost like the crystal was excited. It knows what is about to happen, he said quietly. Admiral Choi Suman watched from the observation room above. Through thick glass, she could see the 4 crew members taking their positions. "Dr. Kang, are you sure this is safe?" "Nothing about." "This is safe, Admiral," Kang replied honestly. "But if it works, we will have a warship more powerful than anything in the galaxy." In the chamber below, the crew put on their headsets. Each headset was connected to the crystal by cables of pure silver. The moment they activated the connection, there would be no turning back. "Everyone ready?" Minho asked. His 3 crew members nodded. They had been through dangerous missions together before, but nothing like this. "Beginning activation in 3, 2, 1, Dr. Kang announced. The moment the connection activated, everything changed. Minho felt his mind expand beyond his body. Suddenly he could sense the thoughts and feelings of his crew members as clearly as his own. Park's scientific curiosity, Daiho's steady determination, Yuri's sharp focus. All of their minds began to merge into something larger. Then they felt it. Another presence in their shared consciousness. Ancient, patient, and incredibly powerful. The ship's sleeping mind awakened and reached out to touch theirs. "Hello, Awakeners." A voice spoke directly into their thoughts. It was neither male nor female, but somehow deeply familiar. "I have been waiting so long for you to find me." The raw materials around the crystal began to move. Metal flowed like water, shaping itself according to the blueprint stored in the crystal's memory. But this was not normal construction. The ship was growing, creating itself through pure will and ancient knowledge. "What are you?" Park asked the voice in their minds. "I am what your ancestors built when they reached for the stars," the ship replied. "I am the dream of humanity given form. You may call me Teguk." The name felt right somehow. Teguk, the symbol of balance and harmony. As the ship continued to grow around them, the crew began to understand what they were creating. This was not just a warship. It was a living extension of human will and determination. Every curve of its hull was shaped by their thoughts. Every weapon system reflected their desire to protect Earth and humanity. Hours passed, though time seemed to have no meaning in their shared consciousness. The ship grew larger and more complex. Its black hull stretched over a kilometer long, bristling with weapons that could bend space itself. But more importantly, it developed a personality that was uniquely human. "I can feel your memories," Teguk said to them. "Your struggles, your hopes, your love for your home world. These feelings will guide me in the battles to come." Outside, the awakening chamber, alarms began to sound. The facility shook as massive earthquakes rocked the Korean mountains. The ship's birth was affecting the entire planet. "Admiral," one of the technicians called out, "we are reading massive energy distortions worldwide. The ship's awakening is warping space-time itself." Admiral Choi watched in amazement as reports came in from around the globe. Tidal waves were forming in the oceans. The aurora lights were visible even in daylight. The very planet seemed to be celebrating the birth of humanity's first true starship. In the chamber, the crew felt the ship's joy as it took its first breath of existence. Teguk's consciousness was like that of a newborn child, but with the accumulated knowledge of 50,000 years. "I understand my purpose now," the ship said to its crew. "I am the sword and shield of humanity. I will carry you to the stars and bring honor to your species." As the 6th hour approached, the ship's physical form was nearly complete. Its hull gleamed with impossible beauty, covered in the same glowing symbols they had seen on the ancient derelict. But these symbols were brighter now, filled with new life and purpose. "The connection is stabilizing," Dr. Kang announced. "The awakening process is almost finished." But something unexpected happened. Instead of the connection weakening, it grew stronger. The crew realized that they would always be linked to their ship. Teguk was not just a vessel they would command. It was a partner they would work with as equals. "I will never leave you," Teguk promised them. "You gave me life, and I will protect yours with everything I am." Finally, after 6 hours and 12 minutes, the awakening was complete. The crew opened their eyes in the physical world. but they could still feel Taeguk's presence in their minds. Above them, the ship floated in the massive underground hangar. It was the most beautiful thing any of them had ever seen. Black as space itself, but alive with inner light. Weapons that could destroy moons were integrated seamlessly into its elegant design. "Hello, my awakeners." Taeguk's voice came through the ship's communication system. "I am ready to serve humanity." Admiral Choi stared at the magnificent warship floating before her. "Dr. Kang, what have we created?" "Something that will change the balance of power in the entire galaxy," Kang replied, his voice filled with awe. The earthquakes had stopped, but the effects of the ship's birth were being felt across Earth. Every human on the planet had felt something change, though most did not understand what it was. Captain Minho stood up from his chair, still feeling the ship's consciousness connected to his own. "Taeguk, are you ready for your first flight?" "I have been ready for 50,000 years, the ship replied. "Let us show the galaxy what humanity can achieve." The birth of Earth's first star destroyer was complete, and the universe would never be the same. 2 days after Taeguk's awakening, the secret was out. Spy satellites from 3 different alien governments had detected the massive energy burst from Earth. Within hours, every major power in the galaxy knew that humanity had built something extraordinary. Captain Lee Minho stood on Taeguk's bridge watching Earth grow smaller through the viewport. This was their first real flight test, and the ship moved through space like poetry in motion. Its hull shifted and adapted to the solar winds, making flight more efficient than any conventional vessel. "Captain," Han Yuri called from her navigation station, "we have incoming ships, lots of them." Through their mental link, Taeguk shared what its sensors could see. 30 warships were approaching from the direction of the nearest Federation base. They were painted in the official colors of the Galactic Enforcement Division. "So much for keeping this quiet," muttered Kim Daeho from the engineering station. The lead ship opened a communication channel. A harsh alien voice filled the bridge. "Unknown human vessel, you are ordered to surrender immediately, by order of Prime Overlord Vexthan of the Hegemony Council. All unauthorized military technology must be turned over to Federation control." Minho looked at his crew. They had expected this moment would come. "Taeguk, what do you think?" The ship's consciousness spoke through the bridge speakers. "These aliens speak to us as if we are children who stole something that belongs to adults. They do not understand that I am humanity's birthright." Dr. Park Ji-won was studying the approaching fleet on her science station. "Captain, those are heavy battle cruisers. Each one has enough firepower to destroy a city. Together they could crack a planet. But they have never faced anything like me before," Taeguk said calmly. "I can feel their thoughts through their ship computers. They expect me to be afraid," the alien commander spoke again. "Human vessel, you have 60 seconds to power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded. Resistance will result in your destruction." Minho activated the communication system. "This is Captain Lee Minho of the Earth starship Taeguk. We are operating in Earth's solar system under human authority. You have no right to make demands here." "Wrong, human. The Galactic Federation has jurisdiction over all advanced military technology. Your species was given permission to join our civilization, but you were never granted the right to build weapons of war." Through the mental link, Minho could feel his crew's anger. For 30 years, humanity had been treated like second-class citizens in their own galaxy. They were allowed to mine asteroids and build simple trading ships, but anything advanced was forbidden to them. "Taeguk," Minho said quietly, "can you handle 30 battlecruisers?" "I was built by humans who conquered entire star systems," the ship replied. 30 ships are not impossible odds. But before anyone could act, more ships appeared. These were not Federation vessels. They were sleek, fast ships belonging to the Trader Coalition. Behind them came the massive mining barges of the Workers' Union. Word of Earth's new warship had spread quickly, and everyone wanted to see what humanity had created. Admiral Choi Suman's voice came through the communication system from Earth. "Captain Lee, be advised that we are receiving diplomatic messages from over 40 different species. Some want to form alliances with us. Others are demanding we destroy the ship immediately." The Federation commander was growing impatient. Your time is up, humans. Surrender now, or face the consequences. Dr. Park made an important discovery. Captain, I am reading the genetic markers of the Federation ships. The crews are mostly hegemony, but their technology shows traces of the same ancient design principles we found in our ship. What does that mean? Asked Yuri. It means they stole this technology from someone else long ago, Teguk said, its voice filled with sudden understanding. The Federation built their entire civilization on the ruins of my creators. They took the knowledge of the ancient humans and used it to build their empire. This changed everything. The crew realized they were not just defending Earth's right to have advanced technology. They were reclaiming humanity's stolen heritage. Minho opened a channel to broadcast on all frequencies, so every ship in the area could hear. Attention all vessels. I want to share something important with you. The technology in this ship is not new. It is 50,000 years old, built by ancient humans who once ruled the stars. He could hear surprised voices from multiple ships, as his words were translated into dozens of languages. The Federation claims the right to control advanced technology, but they built their power on stolen knowledge. This ship contains the memories and blueprints of its original creators. We are not breaking galactic law. We are taking back what was always ours. The Federation commander's voice was filled with rage. Lies. Humans are a primitive species that only recently developed spaceflight. You cannot possibly have built advanced starships 50,000 years ago. Teguk, Minho said. Show them. The ship's hull began to glow with the same symbols they had seen on the ancient derelict. But now the meaning of those symbols became clear to every ship in the area. They were star maps, showing the locations of dozens of worlds that had once been part of an ancient human empire. These worlds were ours before your species even existed, Teguk broadcast to the entire fleet. My creators spread life throughout this galaxy and then disappeared, leaving only their technology behind. The Federation found these ruins and built their civilization on human achievements. Several of the non-Federation ships began to move away from the Enforcement Division vessels. The political situation was changing rapidly as species reconsidered their relationships with the hegemony. But Prime Overlord Vexton was not willing to give up his power easily. His image appeared on screens throughout the fleet. He was a tall alien with gray skin and cold eyes that showed no mercy. Enough of these fairy tales, he declared. The Federation has maintained peace and order in this galaxy for 10,000 years. We will not allow one species to threaten that stability with ancient weapons. He gave a direct order to his fleet commander. Destroy the human ship immediately. Use maximum force. The 30 Federation battlecruisers powered up their weapons. Energy cannons that could melt asteroids were aimed directly at Teguk. The moment of truth had arrived. Captain, Teguk said through their mental link, they are about to learn why my creators were the masters of this galaxy. Minho looked at his crew. They were ready for whatever came next. All hands, prepare for combat. It is time to show the galaxy that humanity will not be pushed around anymore. The battle that would shake the stars was about to begin. The first volley from the Federation fleet lit up space like a dying sun. 30 energy beams, each powerful enough to destroy a mountain, converged on Teguk's position. But the ancient ship was no longer where the weapons were aimed. Impossible, whispered the Federation fleet commander as his sensors tried to track the human vessel. Teguk moved through space in ways that defied everything the aliens knew about physics. The ship's hull rippled and flowed, bending the energy, beams around itself like water flowing around a stone. What should have been a killing blow passed harmlessly by. How are we doing that? Kim Daeho asked from his engineering station. I am not fighting the laws of physics, Teguk explained through their mental link. I am asking space itself to help me. This is how my creators traveled between the stars. Captain Lee Minho felt the ship's joy through their connection. After 50,000 years of sleep, Teguk was finally doing what it was born to do. The ship moved like a dancer, graceful and deadly at the same time. Return fire, Minho ordered. Teguk's weapons were unlike anything in the current galaxy. Instead of simple energy beams, the ship fired pulses of twisted spacetime. When these strange projectiles hit the Federation battlecruisers, the results were spectacular. The first enemy ship simply folded in half as space around it bent into impossible angles. The second ship found itself turned inside out, its hull becoming its interior. The crews of both vessels were transported safely away before their ships were destroyed, appearing in escape pods near the other Federation vessels. "What kind of weapons are those?" Dr. Park Ji-won asked in amazement. "My creators believed that all life was precious," Taeguk replied. "My weapons disable enemy ships but save their crews. Death should only come to those who choose evil over good." The Federation fleet was in chaos. Their sensors could not track Taeguk properly. Their weapons could not hit it, and their own ships were being disabled faster than they could react. Prime. Overlord Vexthan's image appeared on every screen in the fleet. His cold eyes burned with rage. "All ships, focus fire on the human vessel. Use nuclear missiles if you have to. That ship must be destroyed." But the other species watching the battle were beginning to understand what they were seeing. This was not just a fight between humans and the Federation. This was the return of the galaxy's original masters. "Look at how it moves," said the captain of a traitor coalition vessel to his crew. "No one has seen technology like this for thousands of years. The humans are telling the truth about their heritage." Several non-Federation ships began moving away from the battle zone. They did not want to be caught in the middle when the ancient powers awakened. Taeguk continued its deadly dance through space. 10 Federation battlecruisers had been disabled, their crews saved, but their ships twisted into metal sculptures. The sea. Remaining 20 ships spread out, trying to surround the human vessel. "They are learning," Han Yuri observed from her navigation station. "Their tactics are improving. But they still think like primitives," Taeguk said with something like amusement. "Watch." The ship suddenly split into 5 identical copies of itself. Each copy moved in a different direction, confusing the Federation targeting systems completely. "Impossible," the fleet commander said again. "Matter cannot be duplicated like that." But the copies were not matter. They were projections of Taeguk's consciousness, solid enough to register on sensors but made of pure thought and energy. Only one was the real ship, but the Federation had no way to tell which one. The 5 Taeguks attacked from different angles. Space around the Federation fleet began to twist and bend as the ship's weapons tore holes in reality itself. More battlecruisers were disabled, their crews rescued moments before their vessels collapsed into impossible shapes. On Earth, billions of people watched the battle through telescopes and satellites. They saw their single ship dancing through space while an entire Federation fleet struggled to land even one hit. Admiral Choi Suman stood in the command center beneath the Korean mountains. "Are we really winning?" she asked Dr. Kang Hyun. "More than winning," Kang replied, studying the sensor data. "Taeguk is not just defeating them, it is teaching them, showing the entire galaxy that humanity is not the weak species everyone thought we were." In space, only 10 Federation ships remained operational. Their commander was desperate. "All vessels, ram the human ship if necessary. We cannot allow this technology to spread." But before the Federation ships could move, something unexpected happened. The space around Earth began to shimmer with strange lights. Dr. Park's sensors detected massive energy signatures appearing throughout the solar system. "Captain," she said with wonder in her voice, "more ships are awakening. Ancient vessels that had been hidden in asteroids, buried on moons, and floating dead in space for 50,000 years began to stir." Taeguk's awakening had sent out a call that reached across the entire system. Humanity's sleeping fleet was coming back to life. Dozens of ships appeared, each one different but all carrying the same graceful design as Taeguk. They were not as large or powerful as the Star Destroyer, but together they formed an armada that had not been seen since the ancient days. "My brothers and sisters," Taeguk called to the awakening fleet, "welcome back to the living galaxy." The Federation commander saw his situation was hopeless. 50 ancient human warships now surrounded his remaining 10 vessels. Each enemy ship moved with the same impossible grace, bending space and time to their will. "This is Fleet Commander Koss," he broadcast on all frequencies. "I am ordering all Federation forces to withdraw immediately. Repeat, all forces withdraw." But Teguk was not finished. The great ship moved close to the flagship where Prime Overlord Vexthan waited. Instead of attacking, it opened a communication channel. "Overlord Vexthan," Captain Minho said, his voice calm and strong. "For 10,000 years, your Federation has ruled this galaxy using technology stolen from my ancestors. That time is ending." Vexthan's face was twisted with hate. "You cannot defeat the entire Federation with a handful of ancient ships." "We do not wish to defeat you," Minho replied. "We wish to teach you. The galaxy is large enough for all species to live in peace. But that peace must be built on equality, not domination." Through Teguk's consciousness, the message was broadcast to every ship and every world in the local system. Humanity was not seeking conquest. They wanted partnership. "Their Federation will consider your proposal," Vexthan said finally. The proud overlord had no choice but to negotiate. As the remaining Federation ships jumped to faster than light speed and fled the system, the ancient human fleet gathered around Earth. The sleeping giants had awakened, and the galaxy would never be the same. Captain Minho stood on Teguk's bridge looking out at the fleet that now protected humanity's home world. "What happens now?" he asked. "Now we explore," Teguk replied. "There are more sleeping ships scattered across the galaxy. More species who remember the old days when humans walked among the stars. It is time to bring the family back together." The battle was over, but humanity's real journey was just beginning.